The jury reaches a verdict in the Byrd trial. We'll hear how community members are reacting. And school has started in Eastern Kentucky for many students. How to keep your kids safe as they return to class.
And welcome to the weekend. Right now we have temperatures in the low 80s. Now, how long will this nice weather last? I'll have the answer in a few minutes.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
We begin tonight with an update on an investigation in East Tennessee. 3 minors have been charged in connection to an incident at a school in Claiborne County. Police say the incident happened at Claiborne High School on July 30th. The minors are now charged with rape. Less than a week after that incident, football head coach Nathan Medlin resigned from his position. The new Tazewell Police Department and Claiborne County Sheriff's Office are continuing to investigate. A Western Kentucky jury has convicted a man of murder in the death of a Southern Kentucky police officer. The jury returned that verdict last night. It brings to end a quest of justice for a family and a law enforcement community almost 2 years since the drunk driving crash that ended Sergeant Logan Medlock's life. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more.
Almost 2 years later, you can still see signs and markings of the violent crash that happened here in October of 2022. During the trial, seeing and hearing about what took place was difficult for some in the courtroom.
We also had a video of a security camera here in town that showed the intersection and recorded the crash. So those pieces of information was very tough.
Several counts of criminal mischief. Evidence came out that Byrd was very intoxicated when his truck collided with Sergeant Medlock's cruiser.
We had 2 accident reconstructions said he was doing 70+ miles per hour in a 35-mile-per-hour zone 5 seconds before the crash, and that he ran a red light, which he ultimately T-boned and killed Logan.
When Casey Byrd was on the witness stand yesterday, he told the courtroom that he'd actually planned on spending the night at the house where he had consumed all the alcohol, but he got a message from a woman who wanted to meet up with him. There was also evidence Byrd had multiple drinks of beer and whiskey before heading out. There was some debate over extreme indifference to human life, which is typically an issue in DUI murder cases.
Instructions are so similar between a murder and a second-degree manslaughter that it makes it tough for a jury. And when you say murder, like you say, a lot of times they think of an intentional act.
The jury also recommended a 20-year sentence on the murder charge, and a judge will set final sentencing on August 26th. In Laurel County, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
The trial was held in Warren County out in Western Kentucky in Bowling Green, not in Laurel County because of the publicity the case received. In a statement, London police said in part that the outcome marked a major milestone in the long battle for justice. You can read that entire statement on WYMT.com.
Well, as advertised, a smidge cooler today as compared to the past few days where we had temperatures in the 90s. Today, we were in the low to mid 80s. Look at Williamsburg. 84 was the high, 84 in London, 82 Manchester, made it to 86 in Hazard. 86 was actually our forecast high for today, so we hit that right on the money. 87 in Harlan, 88 in Jonesville, and right now we're still seeing temperatures in the low to mid 80s. We're at 84 in Hazard, 86 Harlan, 82 in Williamsburg, as well as London. All is quiet on live pinpoint Doppler radar. We'll put this to bed as we go over the next few days because it's going to be beautiful. Plenty of sunshine will be the rule. Temperatures over the next several hours will be in the mid 70s by 11 o'clock, low 70s, even upper 60s by 5 a.m. And when you wake up in the morning, temperatures in the mid to upper 60s will greet you. Now, coming up in the next check of weather, we're going to talk about this weekend and how long this nice weather will last. Steve.
Eric, thanks. Students are headed back to the classroom, and while their focus is on the upcoming school year, yours might be on their safety. WYMT's Caroline Mueller shares some ways to keep your children safer.
You may have noticed the roadways on your daily commute getting busier this week. That is likely because it is back to school season in Eastern Kentucky. Knox County Sheriff Mike Smith says with school buses and young drivers on the road again, everyone should be more attentive as they drive.
Avoid distractions such as cell phone use, texting, eating while driving, and things like that. We have to obey all the traffic laws and slow down.
Barberville Independent Schools went back to class this week. School Resource Officer Glenn Taylor says they've already seen a lot more traffic.
It's going to be busy here. Take that into account. Leave earlier, take an alternate route, and then just watch, because we do have kids that walk to school and walk from school, and just be mindful of the area around the school and the time of day.
Taylor and Smith both want to emphasize that it is crucial for people to stop from all directions when a bus turns on its flashing lights and the stop sign comes out.
Be aware of that bus. And sometimes if that bus stops, even if the lights don't come on, tell people stop. Because if it's stopping, especially in the road, there's something wrong, or kids might be coming off of it.
Smith says the critical zone around a bus is 10 feet, but he urges people to stop even sooner.
We ask all drivers to stop at least 20 feet back, because the children will have to cross the street and extra distances like that. So we all have to be attentive of that and be aware of it. And always have to be able to be prepared to stop quickly, because the unexpected can happen.
Barberville Principal Brian Carey says there are also precautions taken once students arrive at school.
Classroom doors have to be by law closed during the instructional time, so we make sure we do that. We do a walkthrough every morning to make sure that everything is secure and all doors are locked.
Carey says school officials and law enforcement meet in the summer to make sure they have a safety plan for any scenario. In Knox County, Caroline Mueller, WYMT Mountain News.
Sheriff Smith says buses are now equipped with surveillance cameras that can be used to catch people who do not stop. A stricter truancy law went into effect for Kentucky schools. Since the pandemic, school administrators have been working to get students back on track in the classroom. They say the best way to do that is to make sure everyone is attending class. Attorney Amy Chandler says a student may be reported after 15 or more unexcused absences. She says the goal is to prevent students from getting to that point. She also says in a worst-case scenario, the court system will get involved. Officials with the Breathitt County Hunger Alliance have been working to combat food insecurity in the county for several years now, changing locations throughout the years and dealing with flooding in 2021 and 22. Executive Director Patsy Clare says it's been difficult, but they have managed to push through.
Just because we're in a small space doesn't mean that we don't do great things or big things. You would be surprised the amount of things that comes out of this little building. We do rotate shipments. As soon as we get one in, within a couple of days, it is out into the public's hands.
Claire says they are looking for a larger space to operate out of as they have grown out of their current space on Beattyville Road. Hikers are hitting the hills, taking full advantage of the final stretch of summer and this nice stretch of weather we're about to have. But park officials say they want to make sure every person has a plan if the weather or time is not on their side. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has more from the Break Center State Park.
The preparation for a trek through the trails should happen before you make it to the park.
So carrying extra water is really important. Having a paper map, having a backup map to your cell phone.
The road's right here. But even with a flashlight and some extra food, you never know what may happen in the hills.
One of the things that we encounter a lot on search and rescues are people who actually have experience hiking.
No matter your hiking experience, it is really easy to get turned around, especially if the weather changes or it starts to get dark, which is why park officials say paying attention to where you came from can be life-saving and help you find out where you need to go.
Stop walking, to call for help, to minimize the usage of the cell phone, because first responders are probably going to need to correspond with you on that cell phone.
Some people have been led back to their trailhead guided by a first responder, using the landmarks and trail markers along the way. So not every call will require a physical rescue. But even if it does, officials say you should never be too proud to call for a helping hand.
When they became lost, they decided to try to find their own way out, and they continued on until they fail. They tried to press on after dark and maybe stumbled and fell and became injured. They became dehydrated, or they ended up walking the wrong way and they really got deeper into the backcountry.
To make sure you walk out of the wilderness, even if it takes a few more feet to get you there. In Breaks, Virginia, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Park rangers say you should always have a better flashlight than your phone provides and a power bank for your phone. Make sure someone who is not with you knows where you are, and sharing phone locations with friends and family is also helpful. There's an opportunity to receive unemployment assistance for those impacted by storms over Memorial Day weekend. Governor Beshear announced that state government is now accepting applications. You can apply through the Kentucky Office of Unemployment Insurance. Applicants must prove their employment was impacted by the storms.
All right, here we go. Welcome to the weekend. We'll see lots of sunshine in the forecast. Fall-like weather not out of the question for a couple of days. That's going to be the main story there, but don't get used to it because temperatures are going to go back up. Details in a few minutes.
And the Nibrock Festival is underway in Corbin. We'll take you there live.
I don't